huge update on what the Secret Service knew about the shooter minutes before Donald Trump took the stage. For more, we want to go to Aisha because there was a briefing today. You got some information about what happened, Aisha?
Dana, good afternoon to you. We just got a big information dump, and some of it is deeply, deeply troubling. So I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through this. Just bear with me here. A lot of notes that I'm going to look at here. Just about a couple minutes ago, these senators came out of this briefing with Secret Service. They've been asking for it for days now. Finally got it with the director and Secret Service staff. And the top headline that has come out of it, according to Senator John Barrasso, just spoke to him as soon as he hung up on this briefing. He said that apparently, the Secret Service had identified as a character of suspicion this man, this shooter, because they saw a rangefinder on him as well as a backpack. And this all happened more than an hour before the shooting actually occurred. So they saw the guy and they identified this guy as suspicious. Now, more details coming from a source familiar here who was also in the meeting tells me that about 10 minutes before former President Trump went onto the stage, they had gone from looking at this guy as suspicious to now looking at him as a threat. That is coming from this briefing that the senators were in. They were told that Secret Service had called it in to a center that this guy they now identified as a threat about 10 minutes before President Trump walked on stage, and they still allowed him to walk onto that stage. I'm told the Secret Service agent in charge there was on the phone with local and state police about the threat while the shooting was taking place. That's huge. And that is raising a lot of concerns and now major calls for the director of the Secret Service to step down immediately. Minority Leader, GOP Leader Mitch McConnell just tweeted that he wants her to step down. Several senators that came out of this briefing want her to step down immediately. Another little nugget of information that came out of it that is interesting here is that they still don't have a motive, Dana. They're trying to actually hack into the shooter's phone right now, but some things they're still unable to access because of encryption. But they don't have a motive. They don't know why he did it. But again, the timeline that these senators have received now, creating a lot of deeply troubling concerns about how this was allowed to happen and why the former president was allowed to take that stage when just 10 minutes before they had identified this guy as being not just suspicious, but being a threat. Dana?
Thanks, Aisha. Judge, let's go to you about that new information that the Secret Service had about an hour's heads up.
The fact that they identified him as a threat 10 minutes before Donald Trump took the stage means that they violated their own operational rules. At that point, the protectee should not have been allowed to take the stage. At that point, he should have been removed from the premises. There is no question here that the Secret Service has failed miserably. They failed in their responsibility to cover the totality of the circumstances and of the surrounding perimeters. They initially blamed the local police for that AG building that the assassin was on. But the truth is, they are responsible for following up on what the locals do. And for this Secret Service director to think that she should remain in place is stunning. She should be fired, and her boss, Mayorkas, in not speaking to this issue. The Attorney General, none of them has spoken to the issue. But what is even more shocking, Dana, is the fact that there was an Iranian threat on the President of the United States, and this inept, incompetent, and I think anyone would feel comfortable saying this, Secret Service allowed a 20-year-old punk that they saw with a rangefinder 31 hour before, and that he was, quote, acting suspiciously, and they couldn't take him out or respond to him. And there's another piece to it, Dana. Apparently, the members of Secret Service and law enforcement inside of the secure perimeter couldn't get out without jumping the fence because there was no guard posted there to control the entrance and the exit from the perimeter. There is also, and I've spoken to Secret Service people about this, it took them too long, and believe me, I'm not trashing the Secret Service, I'm trashing the people at the top. It's like the FBI 4 years ago or 8 years ago. It took him more than 2 minutes to get the president off the stage. And once they got him into the car, it took another 2 minutes for the car to move. You know why? The convoy wasn't ready. If this really were an Iranian threat, those wheels would have been shot out. They wouldn't have been able to move. And this is incompetence at the highest level. So when the report comes out, it won't be, did they mess up? It'll be, how bad did they mess up? And this is on the level of Afghanistan.
Greg, it's like a catastrophic cascade of incompetence at the Secret Service.
This wouldn't happen if we had slanted roof control.
Yep.
That's where this all comes down. It's the roof builders that caused this problem. I do think there's another thing that bugs me is how is it possible that this teenager has no social media? We're not getting all the information.
You're right.
I think that's clear. And you're right, it's not about the agents, it's about the bureaucracy. And it's a bureaucracy that's okay with a measure of incompetence if it's not affecting their priorities. It's like, why did Trump have less protection at this point? It may be another example of how Trump derangement contaminates every decision you make and you don't even notice it. It's like, it's Trump. It's Trump. Politics is downstream from culture. Those are the words of Andrew Breitbart. And that means even Secret Service politics is downstream from the media culture that rewards the easy virtue of DEI over the uncouth traditions of meritocracy. The news amplifies the hoaxes. They assign opinions to people, including those who are mentally ill. Meanwhile, the Secret Service bureaucracy is seduced by the headlines of diversity, equity, and inclusion. They know you'll get a positive reaction if you sink your costs into that rather than, face the challenges of the harsher stances of meritocracy, whether it's, the physical fitness standards or the things that you demand from your agents. This has nothing to do with the agents themselves. It has to do with a bureaucracy that has become contaminated by a mindset.
And content.
Yeah.
Jesse.
Well, I do blame not only the head of the Secret Service, but whoever the Secret Service site commander was for this. They set the perimeter. And they didn't act when the locals were radioing in that this guy was all over their radar. You have information. They were sending him text messages. They were sending command pictures of him. They were saying he had a rangefinder. He had a backpack. He was acting suspicious for over an hour. They didn't do anything about it. The men who were in charge of that site security did not take action. The locals were the one chasing him around. It was the locals who were doing all the work around this perimeter. And that wasn't their job. Their job was traffic control. This guy was not ex-military. This wasn't a 900-yard shot with a $50,000 hunting rifle. This was a soft 20-year-old with no military training who knew what roof to climb, got up there, and got off 8 rounds at the president from 150 yards like it was nothing. This woman has to resign right now, and the fact that Joe Biden says he has confidence in this lady is asinine.
He doesn't even know she's a lady.
It's true.
Yeah, him.
Final word, Jessica? Coming up, the media wants to censor Donald Trump's iconic bloodied fist pump photo.
They should know we will follow them to the gates of hell until they are brought to justice. Because hell is where they will reside. Hell is where they will reside.
Check out TrumpRap.com. It's pretty calm for original rap songs that drop like a bomb. Featuring AI Trump as DJ T, hard-hitting lyrics, that's the key. Pressing issues, we address them all. Politics and music, we stand tall. Through rap we speak. Critique so sleek, dynamic beats, unique and chic. Join the movement, feel the vibe. TrumpRap.com, where truth and rhythm collide.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching